So a shorter practice today, coming off the day off, mostly in the red area at the start. Got some good backed up work, which is also good. Get a first down and be able to dig it out of there and then putting from that position. I think it's always good to practice that. We did get that done a few times during camp. And then we went down and did a nice 2-minute. I thought that was good at the end. Good operation by the offense. Needing a field goal there at the end of a game. And did a nice job of moving that into position. Thought that was really good. O-line depth, you guys could see, and there's a little talk about that in terms of, really from the coaches and then where we are with that. So we're just really working the combinations there. You saw before the break we had Bates at center, and now we have Coleman at center and variations at guard. So that's really what we're doing. We're just trying to find, development in terms of those positions in depth, and also find the formula for success there in terms of the first game. And we're not there yet. We're in the middle of camp, and that's just what we're doing in regards to that. You guys saw Valus Jones at halfback today. Again, that's a thing we're going to do during this block. He was welcome to that, and we feel that because of the versatility of the talent and the skill sets that he offers our offense another way to have a weapon back there. So again, hopefully that grows into something. And again, that's Shane and the offensive staff just being creative, being able to maximize our talents on our roster. So that's good to see him back there. I thought 18, Caleb did a nice job today in a couple plays. He had that nice play in the red zone, that throw back into the corner, extended the play a little bit to DJ. That was a good one. And obviously we already talked about the 2-minute operation that he had there. I'll take questions.
With Valus, do you see him playing exclusively in the backfield going forward, or is it just this stretch here?
It's for the block, and then we'll reevaluate where it is. So again, like I said, he's got a lot of talent. He's open to moving around. Again, like we talked about, I think it was maybe last time we visited about, if you're the fringe roster or guy that's competing for that, 5th, 6th spot on the receiver or halfback, whatever it might be, the more you can do. If you're a 4-core guy in special teams, and the more you can, utilize your talents across the wider base of the team, I believe that's a good thing for you. So that's what he's doing.
When you said this block, how long is the block? Just this week?
Just through the Bills.
Yeah. And what does he need to show you to potentially stay
Just
there?
execution, and then show us your skill set. We're putting you back there because you're fast and you're a bigger, stouter receiver that does a good job in the return game, and you can utilize him in a bunch of different spots back there. And it'll be good to line him up in different spots. So just the operation of that.
You guys got a couple of linemen back today. Mm-hmm. Does that lead you toward thinking that Caleb's going to play?
Yeah, I think it does. But again, we got to evaluate where that is later in the week. I think we'll have some clarity on that by Thursday. So I'll be back up at the podium at that point. So we should have some clarity there.
But it's safe in saying that you guys want him to play if possible, right?
Yeah, it's safe to say.
Risk of asking a dumb question. What's the benefit of him going out this week?
Yeah, just being able to have game-like conditions, and I think it's good that way because you get to feel the pressure. They can, you can get hit back there, you can get sacked, and you got to be able to feel it like it's a game time. And of course, we try to do that every single practice, but there's benefit to having that real live reps, for everybody. Even the runners and the guys, that are running the ball, that are splitting two, that are protecting the football, and the guys that are tackling. It's important for the guys on defense that we, tackle well and keep our leverage and keep our angles and just the basics of football. And you get that with live reps. And it's not to say that the reps that we've gotten so far are invaluable. They are valuable. So it's been really good work so far, but we're looking to get some of that work this week.
Yeah, last year the starters didn't play the week of the crossover practices, and the fourth game often starters don't play the last one. So if Caleb doesn't play this week, does that make it a little dicey to get him in, and get him the reps, just based on the way you've approached practice the preseason in the past?
Yeah, really it's just about what's best for our team this year. I know we're having one practice with Cincinnati, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So let's just look at ourselves in terms of this week. But you bring up a valid point. There is some thinking that we have to do there in terms of having that Thursday joint practice going into the Saturday game.
How do you make sure that Caleb gets everything he needs development-wise when you're swapping in so many different offensive linemen, center positions specifically that he has to work with? How do you make sure that he's getting everything he needs?
Yeah, that's a good point. There's obviously, you want continuity and you want consistency for sure. And that's what you're getting to, and that is for sure the case. We'll go as fast as we can to make that decision, but we'll also go have our patience and go as slow as we need to make the right decision. So I think it's important that you look at it that way. Certainly we want to get it solidified, but sometimes injury plays into that, where you get opportunity and position flex based on that. Everybody's not healthy all the time. So, but yeah, for sure we want the consistency to be there as fast as we can.
And man, when you look back at last year, the struggles early on last season and the goal this year of having a fast start, what adjustments, if any, did you make to kind of the training camp structure and getting the most out of these days here in camp?
Yeah, to me, it's about being in the best physical shape you can be in. So it doesn't matter if you're a guy that is fortunate to be able to play every practice and go every rep and all those things. And we monitor those with Salazar, at depth, and I meet with him every single day in terms of A cells, D cells, yardage, speeds, all the things that we talk about. So we're managing the players the right way. But you have to have that callus, and you got to be able to build it up, and that's what we're doing. So we're very conscious of that. And it's important that we compete against each other. So tomorrow is going to be in pads, we'll be thudding, and that'll be a big compete day for us going forward. But we got to have to stack those up as we get closer to the game.
Are you at all looking at it with Caleb like more in the long term versus we have to do everything we possibly have to do to have him ready for week 1? Does that make sense?
Yeah, can you rephrase it a little bit?
Like, are you more looking like, hey, this guy's going to be here for a long time, and we want to build him up slowly, so for the long career, versus we want to force as much down and to be ready for week 1?
I really think it's almost the same thing. I really do. To answer your question the best way I can, he is in a progression of being a rookie, of course, right? So this is the first time going through camp. It's the first time for a lot of things, right? First time, going to ascend to being a leader of our football team. He's working with the veterans and all those things with that. First time working with the receivers that he's working with, the skill sets, and then learning the terminology, operating the offense, and he's doing outstanding. He's on this way, and yeah, he does have some bumps in the road, and has some days that are up and some days that are down, some days that are half up, half down. So he's working through that process, but we have to go through the process. There's no teacher like experience, right, and exposure. And you guys know it in your business. When you guys started writing, man, I probably saw about 4 or 5 misspelling words, right? I was I first became a head coach, it's a little bit bumpy, right? So it's just like, or when I became a defensive coordinator at first, at Missouri way back in the day, so it's a experience, exposure, you learn, you get better, you keep growing, you invest, you grow and you improve, right? And that's what we do. And that's why y'all are sitting in those seats, right? And that's why he's won the Heisman and he's the top draft pick in the draft. So there's a process to it.
The officials are here this week. There's officiating crew here today. What were the questions that you had for them, or was there any main things you wanted to learn from them?
We really utilize the NFL officials when they come in, and Harry Freed does a wonderful job with those guys organizing. Those guys when they come in terms of telling them what we're doing in practice, the situations we're in practice, so they understand exactly what we're trying to accomplish. And then we invite them in. We invite them in to meet with our players, and they go into each position. There'll be an official at every position, and they'll be helping us and watching the tape with us and being able to help us, making sure we're doing the things right in terms of the rules, in terms of the style of play, and questions that we might have that might come up as we watch the tape. But they'll be here for 3 days, and we're always excited to have them in.
Man, there's a clip of you and Nick Saban talking, and he tells you the expectations on Caleb are almost impossible for him to reach. How do you manage those for Caleb and then maybe for the rest of the people in the building?
Yeah, so expectations, that could be a word that's to me is like, it's about being here and being right where you are. So to me, it's about the execution in the moment. You got to execute right now, in the moment, in that particular play. Expectations are something that's put on by outside force or forces. And we operate from the inside out, So what's important most is what the coaches, what the players, what we say we're doing, and how we're doing it, and the process we go through. So that's how I think you manage that. You partner up with your coach, with the vets, with the players, and we do it that way.
Matt, back in June, you said that the expectation was that Nate Davis would be the starting right guard, given how much time he's missed and the need for continuity in front of Caleb. Is there a timeline that you need Nate back before that no longer becomes the expectation?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you have to look at all those things. If a person's out for an extended period of time, and a player that's in that position is playing very well at a starter level, and doing a good job there, then you create the competition. Then you say, hey, there's a competition. People say, well, you can't lose the job because of injury. I don't think that's true. I think that if the guy that's playing there, gives our team a good look and a good benefit for him being in that position, then it's a competition, or the other guy could take it over. But that's not just at guard; that's at all positions.